Federal student loan payments, they are back. Well, almost. Interest on the payments started back this month and bills will resume next month. The move is going to impact 45 million borrowers, and of course, many of them are right here in the Triad. So today, Betsy Mayotte is here to answer all of your student loan related questions ahead of the payment returns. What we want you to do is get your question to this expert because she can answer all the questions. 336-379-5775. That number is at the bottom of the screen. Betsy, you kind of laughed a little bit, but we've had some crazy questions about student loans. I know you can answer them all. Let's first and foremost start with what everybody's hearing about, which is the SAVE plan. What is it?
Yeah, so this is pretty exciting. The SAVE plan is a new version of an existing income-driven repayment plan. Now, there's a bunch of different income-driven repayment plans, but this one is particularly beneficial, especially to borrowers that have low income. So not only is the payment based on your income, but if the payment is less than how much interest you're accruing per month, the government's going to forgive the rest of that interest. And of course, like all the income-driven plans, if you're on that plan for 20 or 25 years and you still have a balance, that balance is going to be forgiven.
All right, I love hearing that the balance could possibly be forgiven, but again, that's only if you've been paying on your loan for 20 to 25 years. Back to the SAVE plan, it sounds like everybody should go in there and put their information in to make this happen. Is that for everyone?
So people should definitely check it out if they're struggling with their payments. But the SAVE plan is not going to be the best option for all borrowers, especially if your income is high compared to your loan balance. Chances are you will actually pay the least amount out of pocket rather than getting on a plan, but by paying the loans off more aggressively. So it's definitely not for everyone, but it can help people that are struggling.
Okay, let's talk about how interest started accruing as of September 1. And what does that mean?
Well, unfortunately, what that means is for tens of millions of federal student loan borrowers who have enjoyed 0% interest and no payments being due for the past 3.5+ years, that holiday is over. And as you mentioned, interest did start accruing on September 1st. So borrowers are going to have to be mindful of that because you want to reduce the amount of interest you pay on your loan. And usually the best way to do that is to try to pay your loans as aggressively as possible.
All right, so we've been talking about how people should probably have already gotten an email or something of that nature that says, hey, your loan is going to be due on this day and it's going to be this payment. But maybe they didn't get that, or maybe they haven't seen that. Where can they go to see all of that information?
Their loan servicer's website by logging in. And while you're there, make sure all your contact information is up to date, because if you haven't received anything by now, the reason probably is they don't have your up-to-date contact information. Now, if you don't know where your loans are, and 17 million loans changed servicers during the pause, you can find out by logging into the Department of Ed's website, which is studentaid.gov.
Okay, and that is like the blanket website for all things. Studentaid.gov is the one-stop shop. For people who are getting texts or emails that says, hey, I can help you figure out where your student loan is, or we can help you with the interest payments, you say what?
Be careful. A lot of those are fraught with peril. Unfortunately, in times like these, this is a great opportunity for student loan scammers to try to take advantage of the chaos and the frustration and the confusion. You should never have to pay for help with your student loans. And paying someone to help you with your loans is not going to get you access to a program any faster or into a program that you wouldn't already be eligible for.
All right, what happens if someone says, well, I haven't received anything from my loan servicer, so if I don't receive anything, then maybe I don't really have to pay that in October?
Oh, you need to watch more Judge Judy, because not getting a bill on any debt, including your student loan, is rarely, if ever, a defense to repayment. So knowing that you should be due a payment in October, if you don't have anything, it's on you to look into it.
All right, let's talk about that one-time payment count adjustment for some borrowers. This is the whole forgiveness thing. How do they even know if this is happening for them?
So if your loan was eligible for the COVID pause, then you're going to get the adjustment at some point between now and the end of next year. This is going to benefit, for the most part, borrowers that have been in repayment for a long time and would have been close to forgiveness if they'd been on an income-driven plan this whole time. So they're going to get credit for past periods of payment. that even if they weren't on an income driven plan, towards that 20-25 years, you need to get forgiveness. There's no application for it. Unfortunately, there's also no way to tell where you are in the queue or to push yourself up in the queue any faster. Once they do the adjustment, you will get notified.
So at this point, if you've been paying on your loan for 20 years or so, you should continue to pay on your loan.
Absolutely. And in fact, if you think you're close to that milestone, I would strongly recommend that you get on one of the income-driven plans, whether it be SAVE, the new plan, or the older income-based repayment or income contingent, to make sure that future payments also count towards that 20-25 years in case you're just not quite there yet.
Okay. All right. We're going to take a quick break from this. We're getting a few of your questions. We want you to text in your questions 336-379-5775. We'll be right back.